Hey guys, what's going on? Jeremy Lafrentz of Backstage Entertainment. We're sitting here with the guys of Hurt. We got Rec and Victor. Guys, what's going on?
How you doing, man?
Good, good. Lovely Omaha, Nebraska. You know, we're approaching this winter season. Not so bad tonight, though. I mean, you guys caught us on a good night, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Anything so far weather-wise catch you guys off guard anywhere?
No, actually, what caught me off is that it wasn't that cold and it's not that bad. Right. We stopped at a gas stop that was, what, like half an hour away from the venue, and I stepped outside and I looked out in this big field and the sun was out. It was actually a gorgeous day, so, yeah.
What are you guys thinking about the drive when you get to the Midwest here? I mean, because you guys go all over the country. Does it get pretty boring when you reach Nebraska or anywhere like that?
It's just really flat, honestly. It's just not much to see. When you're on a tour bus, it doesn't matter too much because you're kind of doing your own thing anyway. But it is definitely a flatter part of the country, so it's a little less eventful. Yeah, a lot of billboards.
Right. Craziest thing, and I can hold this guy for you guys too. Craziest thing that you think has happened so far on tour. What do you think?
Last night.
Okay.
We had this crazy drunken girl, I don't know, she was like following the bus and then like pulled in front of the bus and was like stopping and getting out. She was
literally like swerving in the lane next to the bus, nearly running us off the road.
Just hammered.
We had to pull off the road because she would fly in front of us and then slam on her brakes.
Yeah.
Multiple times. So we pulled over and then she pulls over and she screams. She's just going nuts. And we're like,
she's just drunk and thinks we stole her phone or something. I don't know. She was crazy, man. It was
drunk and driving.
Yeah, hammered and driving.
Telling us she's gonna call the cops on us.
Yeah,
she just said okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Do it. You're gonna get a DUI. Go ahead.
Let's give a shout out because you guys were in Des Moines last night.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've covered many shows over that way too. So
yeah,
you get in Iowa, Nebraska, you're looking pretty crazy. Huh?
It's a good show though, man.
Yeah.
Last night was great.
It was fun.
Yeah. Okay. Recent album, you guys got the Crux out. Posted about it in 2010 and actually got it out in 2012. Yeah. Talk about how long of a process an album for you guys is, because sometimes you want to take your time and actually put it out the right way. So, what do you think?
The last two albums have been pretty much the opposite. The first, Goodbye to the Machine, was written in about 30 days and recorded in 30 days. The Crux was written over the course of a year and was recorded over the course of 3 years. So it was a much more intensive process, and it was much less spontaneous. Everything was every detail was thought out. It was very meticulously done, and it's one of those albums that we can all look back on and we're very proud of it. Like I wouldn't change a thing about that record. I love the way it sounds, the way the artwork came out, the way it's sequenced. I love that album. I really do, because our heart and soul is in that record. So.
Exactly.
That's what's cool for all of us, I think, is that, like Rex said, we wanted something we could be proud of. And I can definitely say that I know for a fact 30 years from now, when I'm in my 50s, I can look back on this record and say, you know what, I gave that my all. I put all my time into it. It wasn't about selling as many copies as we could or pleasing others, as much as we want to please our fans, but that's not what it was about. It was about making sure that we could be happy with every single note that's on the record.
Yeah. Well, we've talked to bands too where they have pressure from the record label to get an album out, but you guys, put your heart and soul into it, so that was really what you wanted to do, it sounds like.
We had the benefit of at the time, we had parted ways with our label, so we made the record completely free of creative pressure. We just made what we wanted to make, and I think the album reflects that. It's angry and it's sad, and there's a lot of different emotions that we were experiencing at that time. So I think it came out just the way we were hoping.
Okay, let's talk about a single off of that album, How We End Up Alone. A lot of radio stations playing it now. Like I told you guys, I listened to you on Octane, and that's where I heard you guys for the first time. So getting a lot of love from them, of course.
They're good to us.
They've always been really good to us.
They're pretty cool that way, it sounds like. I mean, talk about, though, because I've seen the music video for it, and you guys probably get a lot of questions about this even because there's some sort of deeper meaning. I was even looking at the comments of the video, and it's like, I don't get it, or what's the meaning or something like that. Yeah. Can you guys kind of explain really or even whose idea and what's the meaning behind it?
Here's the thing, that I don't like to give specifics about a song. One, I'm not the lyricist, so that's a big part of it. But even though I feel like I have an idea of where Jay was at psychologically when he was writing it, I don't like to give specifics because part of Jay's lyrics, in my mind at least, are that they're open to interpretation and that they can have multiple meanings. He says words in certain ways that can mean other things or has multiple meanings. So I don't like to be specific, but when you mention the music video, I can say that what we had actually done was had a few treatments from a few different directors in order to come up with the music video for the song. And the first few were just, enter band playing, now stripper come in, just stupid, now alcohol, bar, stupid stuff that everybody's always done before. So our goal was to make sure that we could try to do something that hadn't been done before. And the director, I believe, did a really good job of taking an entire lifespan and putting it in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And that's kind of what the song is, or I should say the music video is that it's an entire life story that has so many events in it that so many people can relate to at least one of those events or more than one of those events. And that to me is what the music video is about, is it's a lifespan.
Okay. Anything, Dad?
It's just it's one of those. It's very dark. It's funny because my brother was actually. He texted me one night after the video had been released, and he was at the gym late at night one night, and he said, "Your video just came on, and that's the most depressing thing I've ever seen." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a pretty dark, pretty cryptic."
Was worse.
Yeah,
it was much darker. It was even more depressing.
It's kind of like the just what not to do, and that's kind of the way the song is written. It's kind of a handbook for what not to do, and so I think the video reflects that. And I actually think the director, I think Max did a great job. Translating that and making the old man look very hopeless.
Right.
The actor's great.
Yeah.
We didn't even meet any of them.
No.
I say that's it leads into my next question, because it's pretty much, for the fans that haven't seen it, it's just a storyline from start to finish, and you guys aren't even playing in the video or anything like that.
That was the first,
exactly.
That was the number one thing that we had told every director is we don't want to be in the video.
Okay. So how much involvement do you really have with the music video since you're not even in it?
We had a lot of involvement on the treatment, like the script of it. Okay. If there were parts of the story we didn't like, so we kind of had them rewritten. And then a lot of it, because it was under the guise of our label, a lot of it was done kind of under their watch. So we had to kind of manage from a distance, which was difficult, but
right.
I think it came out actually good considering. I think it came out really good. So.
Yeah. Okay. Now, for like we just talked about, maybe new fans or something, top songs out of any of your guys' songs you'd want them to listen to, maybe for top two, to really get the Hurt vibe. Top two that you think that fans should listen to get your guys' vibe going and maybe become a true fan.
Oof, that's a hard question because there's actually a decent number of songs now.
Okay, so in your opinion, how many? Not just two, of course. So, or maybe this last album, like you guys were talking about, you really love the album. So probably just this last album, maybe have them get.
I think songs that would best kind of represent who the band is. Man, going back in the catalog, like Dance Rousseau and Rapture. But off the new record, I would say, So When, and probably Eden and Links and Waves. That's a good representation of where we're at now in our career and kind of where we're at personally. It's funny because a lot of bands, when I was younger, I used to laugh at bands because as rock bands would age and mature, they would get mellower, and I'd be like, they're just losing their edge. But It's funny because as we've gotten older, and we've kind of, I wouldn't say we've mellowed out by any means. We're definitely heavier than we've ever been, but
controlled.
It's more directed, more poignant, and it's a little bit more focused. So we're just kind of refining our aggression, I guess.
Okay.
If I had to pick two, I'd probably say I think Sally Slips is a really good example of Jay's progression as a lyricist, honestly.
Okay.
I don't want to go into the specifics of what those lyrics are because they're not exactly the cleanest, but Sally Slips is probably one of my favorite songs on the record.
Okay.
And then for the darker, heavier edge of Hurt off of the new record, I would say that When It's Cold is a good example, just because it's kind of straightforward, but it has tons of energy in it. It's not fast. It's not like heavy metal or anything like that. It's just dark and deep and heavy and full. It's got really full tones. I love how that song turned out on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, guys, next we'll get into this. We have what's called this BSE box.
What is that?
Exactly. You guys saw this before, and you're like, what the hell is that? I told you we're going to have fun in the interview. We have fans that have liked Backstage Entertainment on Facebook. You guys can do the same and get your own questions in here. So we have fans submit questions. We hold contests. You guys were awesome enough for us to sign some photos, so we do that. We give away those for getting questions.
How filtered are these questions?
We do have we have crazy ones in here. We do have clean ones too. So let's.
You said we can curse on this, right?
Yes, you can. I think you have been already, haven't you? So let's put this here, and then we'll do one at a time. So, Rec, you want to start us off?
Ooh, let's see what the goodie bag brings here. Do you have any crazy groupie stories? Excellent.
We just told one.
Excellent. Yeah, there was the one from last night, and then there was one time actually in recent memory where I'm fairly certain I was roofied by a group of girls. I had only had like a couple drinks, and I'm not a big drinker, but I mean, literally had like 2 drinks, and just like all of a sudden just felt the urge to go to bed, and I woke up on the bathroom floor. Apparently I had thrown up and passed out. I don't know what happened, but I didn't consume, and it had been hours before, so I was like, man, what, you know, and then I just traced it back in my head, and I was like, okay.
I feel like it's almost an inauguration into touring.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm fairly certain I may have been roofied as well, but I mean, I'm not going to steal a story or anything. But I just feel like that's almost like an inauguration into like national touring, is to have someone do something like that to you, to give you
it's
something
scary
you didn't
because
want to
you don't you know, you stop accepting drinks from strangers, and you just you know, it kind of freaks you out. It's like, oh well, not everybody is out for your good, put it that way. So you know, there are some people that mean to do, you know, things that maybe aren't in your best interest, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes, you know.
If you ever had that thought, like some people, my father tells me sometimes that I think everybody is as like good-hearted as I want them to be. But you start touring and you realize that unfortunately that's not the case. There are people out there that will mess with you, you know, for whatever reason that they feel like doing. I don't know why they would do something like that. But, you know, that's a dangerous thing to believe that everyone's good when you're a touring musician. Oh, I'm scared.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay.
All right, the question is, have you ever had a bowel movement or gotten sick on stage? And I wish I had a good story for this. I don't really have I've never thrown up or had a bowel movement on stage. I've had to go, but you know, just waited. I will say though that there's a song that we play. I don't know why it makes me think of this, but there's a song that we play called Wars, and I do the screams. And I'm not like a professional singer or anything like that. You know, I'm a drummer. But every single night, I do 3 screams in the song, and every single scream, I nearly pass out every time. And I mean, last night I nearly fell over, passed out. So I've never gotten sick or anything like that, but I have nearly passed out.
So we have to watch for you tonight if you're on your screen.
Have the camera ready.
Yeah, exactly.
One of these nights he's either going to pass out or shit his pants. And then we'll have a good story for you.
There you go.
You better hope it's pass out. Shit in my pants is not going to smell very good. And you know I'll finish the show.
Look at this long one.
Go for that one.
You got it.
What do you think is the appropriate age to listen to music with inappropriate words or themes?
So, either of you have kids or anything?
I would play NWA right when the baby is in the womb.
There you go.
Just really start him out and just, you know.
If you desensitize the child early.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. No, honestly, I have no idea. I'm not a parent yet, and so I unfortunately don't have a good expert opinion on that question.
What about when you were growing up? What do you think your parents let you listen to? Or because you probably snuck some music here and there, but when you were allowed to, what do you think?
I was fortunate in that my parents bought me like things like Pink Floyd records when I was 15, 16 years old. So I was able to kind of, and I think by the time you start hitting puberty and you start going through that, I think that it helps you understand things. Like I know people demonize certain artists and certain subject matter, but honestly, as a kid growing up, I mean, that stuff socially is relevant, and it helps you kind of get a better understanding of the way the world is. It really does. It helps you kind of see, and I think sheltering your kid while they're growing up, it's good to protect them, but I think if you shelter them too much, when they do come of age and they do eventually discover that stuff, because they always will, I think at that point they feel a little bit betrayed, number one, and number two, I feel like they don't know how to really really bring it together in their head, because that's something they haven't been exposed to for a long time. So I think you definitely need to, don't shelter your kids too much. Let them be exposed to the realities of the world, or otherwise they're gonna grow up a softie. And we don't need those.
I feel like adding to that, just a key point is that it's up to the parents. That's the point. Like I can have my opinion, and he can have his, and you can have yours. It's not on a governmental agency. It shouldn't be on a governmental agency or an independent agency, for that matter, to make those kinds of decisions. If you are a parent and you have children, be responsible and you make the choice. And just because some other parent has a different viewpoint doesn't make them wrong. Right. But that's the point, is that it's up to the parents. And I think that's an age-old battle that the music industry and the movie industry have had with society.
Of course, censorship.
Yeah.
Censorship is the devil to an artist because it's editing our work. I mean, when we put our heart and soul into it, if we say the word fuck, we're meaning it. We're using that word to convey a message. We're not using it carelessly like a lot of, like rappers. I mean, that word has power if we use it in a song. So to censor that out, I think is sad. It just takes away our rights as musicians.
Talking about lyrics and all that, have you guys ever come to an argument of hey, we shouldn't put this word there, or we shouldn't use fuck or anything like that?
Honestly, we trust Jay. I mean, he's really good with lyrics, so we always pretty much just
go along with it.
I go along with it. There's certain songs. I mean, quite honestly, there's certain songs where, like even the song Adonai off the new record, I had written that verse, and then Paul and I kind of came up with that chorus. So we had this whole music. We had the music lined out, and we gave it to Jay, and he put these lyrics on it. And I remember hearing the lyrics and being like, man, I don't necessarily feel that way. And it's hard for me because I feel like that's kind of a conflict of interest for me because I don't necessarily agree with the way he feels there, but because he's voicing his opinion and he's questioning things and that's the way he feels, that's what people relate to, and that therefore those are the compromises you make as a band, Right.
It's almost kind of like the response that you gave is exactly what we're looking for out of the people listening.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be people out there that don't agree with what Jay's saying, but the point is that you're forcing them to form an opinion.
Yeah.
They're giving an opinion on your music, whether they like it or not. But I think that it's better than not getting an opinion.
Like you said earlier, it's a lot of your songs are open to interpretation.
Yeah,
absolutely, especially a song like Adonai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially.
Okay. Well, Victor, why don't you do one more?
Can I pick 4 and then choose from one?
Whatever you want to do. Hey.
No, that's all right. Ooh, nice. That is a great question.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the best and worst part about being on the road? I feel like Hurt is actually a band that doesn't really fit the stereotypical touring musicians because for the most part, we're all pretty level-headed and keeled over and not keeled over, but just calm. Like nobody really drinks just in a crazy amount or goes nuts. Except for one person. No, but, I just feel like my answer is not going to sound like a rock star or something like that. It's something that people would expect. But, like, the worst part for me is missing family.
Right.
And not only missing family, but just, like, connections. Like, it's pretty hard to maintain a solid relationship when you're consistently touring.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining, but, like, when you go through your age of promiscuity, eventually you come to a point where you want monogamy. Mm-hmm. You want connection. You want relationship. Some type of symbiotic relationship.
Right.
The best part about it is the people. That's my favorite part of touring, other than the show itself, which is why we do what we do, is I get to meet all kinds of people from all age groups, from all backgrounds. And what's really interesting that I don't think most people realize about America is that it literally is a melting pot. You can go from one state to the next and see completely different styles, completely different dialects, completely different interactions. Yeah. People treat each other differently from county to state to region. And I think that's my favorite part of being on the road is meeting people and experiencing the culture that America has.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, lastly, for the fans out there, maybe checking you guys out the first time, or your current followers, message you want to leave them with, anything, just maybe upcoming, anything you guys want to leave them with. Keep listening to real music that's made honestly. And keep buying it, because otherwise our future is bleak.
Well, I think if I had to give 2 messages, one to the fans that we already have, it is thank you, because we get to do this amazing thing for a living. Whether it's easy or hard or whatever it is you think it is, we get to do it, and not everybody does, and that's really cool. So thank you. For the fans that haven't heard us, or just fans of music, period, it's like Rex said, support music that you believe in by buying from the artist. If you're going to buy, if you buy stuff at shows at the merch table, that's the most guaranteed way to make sure that your dollar that you're putting towards the band actually goes towards the band. And for people that haven't heard us, I would say that if you listen to a song and you don't like it, dive a little bit more into the record, because I like to think that we're a fairly eclectic band, that a record can have a song as heavy as 10 Ton Brick and as soft as Alone with the Sea, which are complete polar opposites if you haven't heard those songs before. So I would just say that if you listen to a song of ours and you don't like it, maybe listen to another one and see if you do, because we have a lot of songs out there. Right. And thank you for listening. Yep. Great messages there. Definitely, like they said, support music, support local music and get
the music industry up where it should be, and support these guys as well. Once again, I'm Jeremy Lafrentz, Backstage Entertainment. We got Victor Rec from Hurt. Definitely check them out, guys. Hey everyone, make sure to like Backstage Entertainment on Facebook to see our photos, to enter yourself into contests for autographed prizes, and other news. Also, make sure to click the subscribe button on YouTube to check out the rest of our videos. And you can find us on Twitter to get updates about what we're doing. For Backstage Entertainment, this is Jeremy Lafrentz.